Welcome to the Flynn Brothers Podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Jimmy. Today's big idea, John's 32 favorite things about Los Angeles.
I just turned 32, and I will be leaving Los Angeles in July, so I decided to commemorate those two occasions by naming my 32 favorite things about LA.
It's all coming up. But first, here's the Solons.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
All right, I have lived in Los Angeles now for 7+ years. I have seen quite a bit. I have done quite a few things, and this year I think of as a sort of a love letter to the city, if you will.
And like most love letters, it's written in a list of 32 things. 32 reasons I love you, honey.
Yeah,
you know,
very romantic.
You turned 32. Let's say as well.
That's right.
That's the reason for the number you chose, and you feel different. People always ask you that on your birthday. Do you feel different?
You know, I feel like 32 is a cooler age to be than 31. 31, it's a gap year almost between 30, which is obviously monumentally significant,
Right.
and 32, which just feels more like a real number to me.
You're in your 30s.
I'm in 'em.
31 is you dip your toe to test the temperature of the jacuzzi. 32, your shoulders deep. You're in it, right?
I'm
You're
going,
in it.
"Hoo, hoo, hoo." Okay,
that's a
all right.
good jacuzzi.
There we go. Okay, so just a couple of disclaimers up top. I am not going to be shouting out specific people. You know, my brother is obviously one of my favorite things about Los Angeles. Our producer, Will Slade, is also one of my favorite things about Los Angeles. I could go on, but I won't.
So number one will not be it's the city where Will Slade lives.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
So,
that.
you know, I met a lot
Too
of great...
easy to make the list.
Met
if you
a
do
lot
that.
of great people in Los Angeles, who I'm sure I will remain in contact with, but so I'm not going to shout them out. These are things that that I've loved. Obviously, there are other things that I've loved that I won't mention. I sort of think of this as a either retrospective for people who may have been to Los Angeles to be like, oh, I went there. Oh, I'm glad he also found that lovable. Or if somebody's coming here and they don't really know what to get into, these are a bunch of good ideas.
You're kind of like pre-apologizing to any omissions, but it's like, Jesus, if you couldn't make the list of 32, you may not have been too significant, right? If a woman came up to you and said you weren't even in my top 32 boyfriends, you'd feel like a schmuck.
I'd
wouldn't
be fairly put out. But you know, I'm not as vast and expansive as Los Angeles.
Sure.
I also lived in Los Feliz and Hollywood, so things are more skewed that way. All right, the first thing that I'm going to be talking about are the free things that I love
There's
about
like
Los Angeles.
There's like a category you're saying.
category.
Okay, so these will all be, how many free things are going to be listed here? Are you saying?
Oh, 6. I've got six
free things. In
yeah.
any order? Is this list in order at all? Or?
I would say that it's not really in order.
Okay, all
This is sort of how it came to me, and then I also grouped it in this way, and there's some reasons for things being where they are.
It's categorized, but it's not in order.
There you
I
go.
Gotcha.
You've
All
got
right.
it.
Free things. Let's hear about
Free
'em.
things. Maybe this is the best thing, though, about Los Angeles. The climate/weather. The beach/desert combination is pretty unbeatable for sunny, temperate days. I mean, it's really rare there's a day in Los Angeles where you can't go outside and bask in some sunshine for at least a little part of it. Even like rainy days seem to clear at some point.
To be specific, it is a semi-arid climate. I have learned. Yeah, I agree with you. My opinion has changed over the years. You were a more slender man than I. I think Los Angeles weather is perfect if you are fit and in good shape. If you are a heavier set gentleman or lady, it maybe is a hair warm at times, I'll say. I will agree with you, though. The number of inclement, like too hot, humid to go outside, too rainy to because the rain here, it just pools in the streets. They're terrible drainage. It's very dangerous if it's raining hard and the flash floods and everything. It's dangerous to go kind of out of your house and drive. I would say there's maybe 10 a year. There's probably like 3 or 4 of these crazy flash flood days, and then there's 6 or 7 of these insanely hot days where you just gotta, burn, get the AC going until it's dripping. But you are right. I mean, in a 365-day year, to have 355 days good weather, I can't complain.
Can't complain. Yeah, I think the mountains really lend the region a drama to it. There's some hills of Los Angeles that look beautiful, as well as the beaches. I was gonna say my favorite beaches, probably Hermosa and Seal Beach. However, I think there are strong arguments in favor of all the beaches. You really can't go wrong driving down the coastline of Los Angeles.
They're lovely. You mentioned weather, climate was your first one, but we're kind of talking what? We're talking topography. We're talking mountains, beaches. What is this? Is this
Maybe
number 2?
Throw topography into
climate and topography.
All right, here's my favorite piece of topography, I'd say, in Los Angeles. Griffith Park, of course, the jewel of inland Los Angeles is what I'm calling it. It is a massive park, kind of skirting the edge of the city proper. There are huge hikes that, can really challenge you. You can climb up these little hills that are sort of mountainous. It's often lush after a good rain, and it's just a place where I've spent a ton of time. It has great views of the city. It's a great place to take somebody if they've first come to the town. And it's got the Griffith Observatory, which is not only beautiful to look at from a distance, but fascinating to be inside of. Griffith Park.
You've gone there, what would you say, average of 2 times a week?
Something like that
for,
at least.
For 7.5 years. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of times you have been there.
Explored it all over. One of the great attractions of Griffith Park, too, is the old zoo, where they have these old animal enclosures that are inhumane, that they used to keep the beasts in during less enlightened times, and they really just make you think, staring.
Yeah, the old zoo closed in the 60s, and people go there and, graffiti the old exhibits, and people crawl through the little tunnels and stuff. You can really feel the ghosts of the bears and lions that were once captive there.
You certainly can. Moving right along, the Hollywood Reservoir, which I think is just one of the coolest. It's almost like a secret.
Yes,
you almost don't know about it too soon. There's this reservoir of water which essentially forms a gigantic lake right underneath the Hollywood sign. It's not really something I think that's known to out-of-towners, but it's a nice, circular, relatively flat walk that is highly enjoyable.
Yeah, people will sometimes refer to it as Lake Hollywood, which just sounds like a hack made-up thing from a pulp L.A. novel. But beautiful, beautiful walk. A little kind of 3-mile loop.
Yeah, it's also the place where we saw probably our funniest celebrity sighting.
Oh, yeah.
We were driving, looking for a space to park, and there were 3 sort of alt gentlemen tattooed and wearing cool clothes in the middle of the street. 2 of them noticed us and quickly sidled off to the sidewalk, and then one of them just kept walking, completely unaware, completely unconcerned. And we were like, now, who is this jerk? Who is this real inconsiderate person not stepping aside to let us pass in our car? And that person turned around, and it was
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, a man whose hair I've copied my entire life. When he went long, I went long. He's kind of short and medium. I'm short medium.
He's kind of in the buzz zone right now.
Is he buzzing?
He's
buzzing. He's always been a year or 2 ahead of me.
There
so
you go.
Maybe we'll forecast it.
This one you may get on me for sort of blurring the line with climate. I've talked about it briefly before by quoting David Lynch. The light in Los Angeles.
It's
the
different.
lights.
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's glamorous. It's dramatic. When it's shot through on a clear day, it makes everything look electric and vibrant. When it's clouded by fog or smog, it lends this very dreamy quality to the city. It is, I think, the reason why they decided to make the film industry here, because, hey, it's a visual medium, and you can't see anything without light.
Yeah, it's a great one. You even see it. I think of like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood poster captures it very well. There's certain posters they made for that movie. We used to have one hanging in our apartment where, yes, you can see like the smog line and like the gauziness. And it just, yes, it's this like kind of dreamlike orangish yellow.
Yes.
It's unlike the sun anywhere else on Earth.
That's a great point. The other thing up next, I've got the beautiful people.
Yes.
The beautiful people of Los Angeles, the actors and the models and the people who came to be actors and models and are still keeping it tight. It is a feast for the eyes when you are in Los Angeles.
Yeah, everyone's in great shape. All the dudes are huge. I mean, we're both 6 feet tall, and I feel like we're among the shorter men in Los Angeles. I remember one time we were leaving the Pack Theater where we used to perform comedy, and there used to be an acting class they would hold next to it. And we walked out, and there were like 8 stud, like Elvis-haired actors in leather jackets, white shirts, all smoking, chatting about being an actor. And they were all like 6'5", and it was just like, boy, this city really is different. Not to mention on the other side of the coin, all the long-legged, 6+ foot tall models walking around, the ladies. I mean,
it's all the beautiful people from all over the world come here. I think it's really where the human body is perhaps most prized.
Yeah.
I think in other places there's, an emphasis on, say in San Francisco, your tech know-how or your savviness or your ability to disrupt. I'd say in New York, it's more of what's your fashion sense? What's the sort of like personality or attitude that you give off? Los Angeles is very much unapologetically superficial. And
how gorgeous are you?
Yeah. Are you gorgeous? Can I look at you? Can I look at you for 2.5 hours?
Otherwise, are we gonna put you on camera?
Yeah. Otherwise, we got nothing. Okay. Number 6. Here comes the flowers. Flowers are everywhere in Los Angeles. You have the bougainvillea. I have a lovely bush growing right outside of my house. You got the jacaranda trees. These purple blossoms on these winding, mysterious trees. You've got the magnolias that create some beautiful, huge trees as well. You also have roses of every type, wild flowers sprouting through concrete and through fence gaps. But my favorite is the jasmine. Jasmine. The scent that it offers on cool nights when that ocean breeze is blowing and you get a whiff of it through your window. You feel like you died and you went to heaven.
Leaning in and smelling the jasmine. Good way to get a bee up your nostril, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I actually got one, so I'm going to pull it out. And we will be right back with more of my favorite things right after this. Los Angeles, it ain't cheap. So that's the end of all the free stuff, really. That's my favorite things that you get to just experience about the city being here. Up next, we have restaurants/food.
Nice.
I'm sure you can guess which the first restaurant is on my list here.
I bet it's on Hollywood Boulevard.
It sure is. Musso and Frank Grill. We have called it the best restaurant in the world.
Every time I go there, it just re-emphasizes that is the only true thing I know in this world.
It is the North Star that guides your journey on this earthly realm. It's the best reason to visit Hollywood Boulevard. Everything done to perfection. Really a trip to Los Angeles, especially if you're visiting. This is a must go if you got some change to some loose change to throw around.
If you're willing to go to a nice restaurant and spend a bit of money, there is no better place, arguably in America, than you can go. I said the world. But if you come to LA, it's a must.
Yeah.
It's an absolute must.
Utterly transportative. You've got the veal schnitzel. You've got, what else do you got?
Ribeyes. Yeah. You got to get the Lyonnaise potatoes. It's not on every menu. It's basically potatoes fried in butter with caramelized onions. How do you go wrong? Get a 1919 sundae for dessert. Why is it 1919? 2019 because the restaurant's been around over 100 years. It's perfect. The waiters are in tuxedos. Best cocktail you've ever had. Best ambiance. You'll see a celebrity. It's great. It's on Hollywood Boulevard. It's unbelievable.
It's been in a bunch of movies.
Go. It's so great. It's unbelievable, man.
It's the place to go if you want to feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up next, Cantor's.
Oh, yeah.
Cantor's, the legendary Jewish deli / kind of all-night hangout / bakery. It wears a lot of hats. They have a great breakfast, really awesome early bird specials, delicious bagels that you can get with that, and they just execute everything really well.
Yeah, really great ambiance. Our good pal Will Slade used to live very close to it, and we had a late night or two there, and great for breakfast as well. If you're a psycho who likes lox, eggs, and onions like I do, that's what I get for breakfast. A little pumpernickel bagel, a lot of cream cheese. Go with other people who aren't going to finish their cream cheese. You can use their cream cheese. And it's awesome, man. I love Cantor's.
A place that is almost as perfect as Musso in terms of it achieves everything that it sets out to do. There's also a very specific sort of wait staff person who's been trained and has maybe a little bit of personality, a little bit of surliness even, that is welcome, that is desirable.
Quintessential Jewish deli. It is a must to go there late night. You do at one point in your life. It's one of the few, I think it's still 24-hour. It's one of the few 24-hour places you must go late night sometime.
There you go. The companion to this, and we talked sort of more about like late night and breakfast. If you're in the middle of the day, you need a sandwich. You're hankering for a sandwich. Well, then you got to go to Langer's. It's the best sandwich in the city, the best sandwich I've had in my life, the number 19. It is phenomenal pastrami. There's great pastrami at Cantor's. I would say Langer's has it by a nose, to use a horse racing term. Phenomenal pastrami, a Russian dressing, a just slightly melted slice of Swiss cheese, coleslaw, and rye bread that's home-baked with a soft crumb but a very firm crust. It is perfectly balanced. It is remarkably flavorful, and you feel as if you've gotten into a time machine, I feel like, when I eat it.
Perfect sandwich. They also have phenomenal desserts. We last time it's this chocolate cake with whipped cream, and they have a great carrot cake. Man, Langer's. Best pastrami I've had in my whole life. We've had it in the top places in New York, and man, I just think that Langer's sandwich is the best. Like Musso's, best in the whole world.
Best in the whole world. There was one time my brother and I, we went to Langer's before a movie, and we were like, gosh, we're going to be able to get there. And so we saw a huge line out front. We got in, and they're like, is there anybody with just two people? Just two people. Every other party had way more people. We were the only people who just had two. We were like, we have two. They shepherd us right in. We get a spot right at the counter. The woman behind the counter sizes us up and says, let me guess, gentlemen, 2 number 19. We were like, yeah. Side of fries, yeah. And 2 Cokes, yeah. She ordered for us. I've never had that happen in a restaurant before.
No, we were in and out like from arriving to leaving 25 minutes. I think we were like, it was 40 minutes until the movie started. We're like, I don't know if we're going to make it. Oh my God, we had time to spare. Probably snagged the popcorn on the way in, if I had to guess.
And you can imagine we housed those sandwiches in very little time. Up next, number 10 on the list, John's Supermarket. I love John's Supermarket.
Yes.
I shop there the most. They have farmers market quality produce at remarkably cheap prices. You have to be a bit discerning. They won't always have every single fruit or vegetable year round, but they do sort of seem to have relationships with somewhat local growers where I see stuff that I don't see anywhere else. And that's not just in the produce. It's sort of this combination of Mexican and Armenian specialties, if I were to pinpoint where it is the most. These things that I have discovered there that I am afraid I will not be able to find elsewhere. Lavash, the traditional Armenian flatbread, wafer thin, simple as can be, but you can just house anything on it. It is the perfect canvas. There is an eggplant spread, this eggplant caviar that is widespread in Armenia. I don't know anywhere else they eat it. It's delicious. It's like eggplant.
Caviar?
They call it eggplant caviar.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah,
it's an appetizer.
It's an appetizer. It's like
yeah.
a very roasted eggplant mixed with roasted other vegetables, namely tomato, and it just has this beautiful savory flavor. There's thick Persian yogurt that will not curdle when you add it to stuff. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it. And beans you can warm up in the microwave in a bag and then squeeze out of them. I mean, these are just great, great inventions from around the world. John's does it right.
Yeah, the funny story of confusion I have from John's is pretty much everyone who works there is either Mexican or Armenian. And I was making hummus, but I needed tahini. So I went up to one of the workers there, a Mexican guy, and I was like, "Hi, do you have any tahini?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, follow me." And I followed him over, and he showed me an aisle, and he held up a bottle of tahine. And I was like, "Oh, no, you went Mexican. I need you to go Armenian, tahini, the stuff you had to hummus." And he didn't know what to do. So then an Armenian employee came over and showed me the way. And John's Market, gotta love it.
It's beautiful. It's a wonderful combination. What a great two cultures to bring together, particularly with food. Up next, number 11, Delia's. It is a Mexican-American restaurant sort of out in the Eagle Rock district. It was right across the street from our doctor's office for many years. And what I love getting there is the machaca. It's a beautiful thing. This machaca is shredded beef, peppers, and eggs. Very simple, straightforward, but infinitely satisfying breakfast that you consume with rice and beans and tortillas.
I'd go omelet. I'd go breakfast burrito. You're a big machaca guy. Delia, the woman who owns it, is very, very sweet, very welcoming. Their coffee is very interesting tasting. It has almost like a whiff of cinnamon to it. It has a kind of an interesting, like almost spiced aroma and flavor. Really, really solid breakfast spot.
Another solid breakfast spot, number 12, The Pantry.
Yes, the original pantry. It is sadly closed right now. It was open for, like Musso's, 100 years or so. And, I think closed or like scaled back its hours during COVID a bit and then officially closed. But it should be coming back. It is hands down the greatest breakfast I have had in the entire world. God, it's so great to live in Los Angeles. You can have all these great restaurants, better than any in the entire world. I would always get the ham and American cheese omelet.
I joined you on that recently, and it is phenomenal. That is the thing to get there. Since it is temporarily closed, then I am wary of them bringing it back and it not being the same. It scares me a little bit. It scares me that some venture capitalist might take this treasured brand and just suck all the value out of it.
It's happened. We had a breakfast joint we loved in Sacramento on, I think it was Stockton Boulevard, and it's like closed briefly, and it's like, we're remodeling, and then they kind of changed the menu. It wasn't like a fun, grimy diner, and just it was never going to go back. And it's just... Restaurants, they time and place, era, it's very important, and sometimes it can just be gone.
So, in lieu of this, I am going to be recommending Nick's Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Also downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Ham steaks the size of a sewer grate. Really hot, delicious coffee, like one of the few places in Los Angeles that's open early.
Yes, when I would take my fiance on early flights, she'd have to fly out of Burbank, and everyone in Los Angeles not only goes to bed early, they sleep in late. That's an issue. I think you should not be spending 12 hours in bed as an adult, just my humble opinion.
Oh, they're well medicated.
Yeah, that's true. And I would go to this, the only breakfast place, really open at 6 a.m. There's a couple 24-hour joints, but oh my God, man, it was just like me and cops there in the morning, and they got a horseshoe-shaped counter and really good biscuits too, and oh my God, man, Nick's Cafe.
Fluffy pancakes. The other funny thing, you mentioned that it is a big cop hangout.
Yes,
Cops go there a lot, and Nick's sort of logo or mascot is a pig.
Yes. Maybe winkingly, they're
Totally.
like,
100%. Yeah, it's a charming pig. It's very porky-esque.
Porky-esque.
another a type of place you would go when you're taking your fiance to the airport. Coming in at number 13, the Astro Diner.
Yes.
Now this doesn't have, I would say, as good of food as the places that I have previously mentioned. However, it just hits the spot when you're in there, when you're sitting in these orange booths, and nothing has changed in 30, 40 years. There's just a real sense of home and comfort there.
It's the closest you'll get to like an East Coast diner. However, instead of like Greek-inspired dishes, it's Mexican-inspired dishes. So it's all the like patty melt and hamburger deluxe and spaghetti and meatball. Like they have like every type of cuisine, every type of food. It's all done really solidly. Pies, coffee, everything. But yeah, man, it is a great place to hang out. One of the few 24-hour joints. We've been there early, we've been there late, and it tastes good either way.
That's right. That's right. This one, I think, is maybe what I will, what I will perhaps miss the absolute most is the Al Pastor taco stands that are dotting most major thoroughways in the city. They look for a blue tent and a ton of smoke emanating from it. It is these like semi-licensed, almost always people who just speak enough English to get by and lets you kind of try out a little bit of your high school Spanish. They've got these huge bits of Al Pastor marinated meat that's cooking like a gyro, slicing off little bits. They've got flat tops upon which they are handcrafting tortillas from masa. They're brushing them with a little bit of lard just to really make sure that they fry up right. Fresh salsas, fresh onions and cilantro. It really is, I think, the pinnacle of that form of cuisine.
The coolest thing you'll see too is they often have a whole pineapple on top of the Al Pastor cone as it's getting seared by the fire, and they'll trim off some meat from the cone into a tortilla, and then the guy will put his knife on top of the high up pineapple and just do a quick and like just kind of whack at it with his knife, and then with his other hand he will catch the piece of pineapple inside the already made taco. And that is just watching a maestro at work. I mean, you can't go wrong. There's so many of these places around Los Angeles. Just pick one and go to it and have your mind opened.
It's almost like a Benihana in some ways, because they got this ripping hot flat top grill. The other move that I hadn't really seen anywhere else is putting the cheese directly on this ripping hot grill so that it gets grilled, and then you put it onto your burrito or taco.
Yeah, these kind of queso tacos. Yeah, it on the high end of the spectrum, if you're coming to Los Angeles, you have to go to Musso and Frank's. On the lower ends, just anyone can go, everyday affordable. You must go to an Al Pastor taco stand.
There you go. This is a longer section. I loved a lot of food. I think people know that about us, that we're food guys. But Los Angeles really is a great food city. And a type of food that I didn't have too much experience with is Armenian food and like the true sort of Lebanese Mediterranean. So this one I'm kind of splitting. I know I shouldn't, but they're kind of near each other. They exist similarly in my mind. I'm thinking of Marouche and Zankou chicken. Kind of I feel like they're two sides of a coin. Marouche is maybe a slightly higher end version of what Zankou gives you. Marouche is a diners, drive-ins, and dives approved Lebanese restaurant. The best dips of every Mediterranean variety that you could possibly imagine, as well as delicious skewers, whatever you want, lamb chops, all this sort of stuff. It's a phenomenal place to eat.
Yeah, and then Zankou is basically the El Pollo Loco of Armenia. You get like rotisserie chickens, and instead of rice and beans, you get hummus and baba ganoush and pita, and it is just so good. Great like weeknight dinner to just pick up or like have at a party or something. But yeah, both places really fabulous.
The next up, number 16, Philippe's.
Oh,
the original French dip sandwich. So they claim, and so I believe. Our order is one roast beef sandwich with a American cheese slice on top, French roll double dipped. Next, roast lamb with American cheese, French roll double dipped. Next, pickles and potato salad on the side. And, you could throw in a beer, you could throw in a Coke. They've also got water there that's ice cold and washes it all down just fine. It is a true classic restaurant, Philippe's.
Yeah, the must addition to the sandwich too they have on all the tables is this hot mustard. It almost has kind of a horseradish element to it. Unbelievably good. You can buy it to go. I think our dad bought it once to go, and we were just at home throwing it on everything. But yeah, man, Philippe the original, absolute must if you're going to a Dodger game. If you're coming from downtown, even if you're not, make a special trip. You'll see everyone in their Dodger jerseys. Dodger fans are nuts, man. They all have jerseys.
Yeah.
I have never rooted for a team or been to an arena or stadium where every single person has a jersey. I mean, every Dodger fan wears a jersey to the game. It's like, how many? It's like a players convention. It's like, look at all these players in the stands. What's going on? Is it like alumni night, the ex-player night? What is it? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, more on that later. Coming up next in the food category, almost rounding it out, is the tacky yet somewhat tragic institution El Coyote.
Oh, yes. El Coyote. I believe Beverly Boulevard it's on. Infamously, where Sharon Tate, last place she ate before she was brutally murdered.
And that gives this place more weight,
Yes.
which it desperately needs, because the inside is basically what a white male from the 1950s would think Mexico looks like if he had never seen it.
Yes, it's like Casa Bonita from
Yeah.
South Park. There's a little bit of pandering going on with like the wait staff. Like they'll come up to your deal and be like, "Hola, amigos," and like they're obviously all Mexican, so it's like, "Come on, hey, wow." You're like, he thinks I'm Mexican or Spanish, you know. The food is surprisingly very, very good for how kind of touristy it is and how infamous it is. The food I find really good, and they have good margaritas and stuff. It's a really, really fun place to go.
Yeah, I'd say it's way better, the food, than it needs to be.
Yes.
Like, it's the type of place that people would go to even if the food
Yeah.
was bad. They have delicious carnitas. They have endless chips and salsa, which is, an increasing rarity nowadays.
It's like there's something too where I love Los Angeles and how authentic the Mexican food is and the Al Pastor taco stand and stuff. But there are certain times where you just want gringo Mexican food. The big, hot ceramic plate with the beans with the cheese sprinkled on top, the Spanish rice, a big thing of carnitas or chile rellenos or something like that. There just are times where it's like, I love authentic, I love street tacos, but it's like, just give me one of these joints once in a while. You know?
I would say it is the most authentic version of that inauthentic Mexican food.
It's the absolute mountaintop of those type of restaurants. It is sensational.
Finally, this one holds a special place in our hearts. We have a dear family friend, Larry Castro, who grew up in Los Angeles, and he told us about this place. He told us it was where his father took his mother on their very first date. I am talking of Cielito Lindo. On Olvera Street.
Yeah, downtown. Taquitos with a avocado sauce on top. Really sensational. Gotten more expensive in recent years, but still very, very cheap. And man, just an iconic. Again, another joint that's been around like 100 years.
Yeah, but really, you can't go wrong in Los Angeles if you go somewhere that's been around 100 years.
Yeah, that's what I always like recommend to people. It's like go to a classic joint. Like it's really cool. All these like fun hip restaurants where like people on the Food Network open these restaurants, but it's like a lot of them close in 5 years. Like they're just kind of these fun Instagram attention grabs. And then it's over. It's like go to places that, stand the test of time, that have been doing it right for decade after decade. That's really what I respect in a city this big, in a city this competitive. Like I just find myself coming back to these classic joints.
Yeah, they're the ones that I'm going to miss most, and particularly about Cielito Lindo, I never have taquitos freshly fried.
No,
like the
never.
only time I'd ever had taquitos was out of a Trader Joe's freezer container right before this, or like, not really something that you order typically in a restaurant. I feel like there's better options that I want to go for.
Yeah.
But here it's like a little kind of snack, and then you eat it, and then you're on Olvera Street, which is these kind of a little bit touristy, but still has a flavor of the way that Los Angeles used to be. These little stalls that are selling tchotchkes. And yeah, it's a great little detour downtown.
I get why you apologized for the omissions. I think you nailed so many of the great places. There's you had to make some cuts. There's some that rattle around my brain, but no need to mention them. You hit all the ones that will hold a special place.
There you go. There's lots of great places to eat. And
Yes.
those ones, though, I think if you're really going to kind of get that true flavor of Los Angeles, to me, anyway, that's where you'll find it.
It's your birthday pod.
What are you going to get mad at me? It's my birthday.
I'm 32. I'm in the jacuzzi of my 30s. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm getting a little hot. I'm gonna lift myself out onto the ledge, and we will continue with more of my favorite things about Los Angeles right after this. All right, my brother teased it a little bit earlier. This next is now, I did the free stuff, I did the restaurants. Now this is a broad category I am titling Places You Gotta Pay to Visit.
Cough up a few bucks, you cheap bastards.
Yeah.
Pay money.
I promise these places are worth it. Sometimes you don't have to pay for a couple of these places. I'll explain later. But this one you definitely have to pay to get in unless you know somebody. Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
It is a jewel of a ballpark. Have I already used jewel once? I think I called Griffith Park a jewel.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. Well, Dodger Stadium, another jewel. It's a jewel bedecked crown, Los Angeles. The architecture is phenomenal. The field is beautiful.
Yeah.
The way that the stadium is oriented gets so loud. They do light shows. It is a rabid fan base. As my brother said, everyone there is wearing a jersey. You better buy a Dodger cap. If you are going to go and you are not morally opposed to rocking one, you will just feel out of place. You will truly feel like you showed up to school on a themed dress day and you forgot.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. Controversial when it was built, they blew a crater into a hillside of a historic Latino neighborhood. Although now Latinos own the Dodgers, like in terms of fandom, everyone there is basically Latino. You mentioned earlier how beautiful the light is in Los Angeles. Seeing a night game as the sun is setting and you got a cold adult beverage in your hand, it is just paradise, man. It is. Look. Is it easy to get to? No. You got to pay, $80 to park or walk uphill for a mile. But man, it is such a cool ballpark. We grew up rooting for the Giants and Oakland A's, but coming down here, we were never big baseball guys. We could kind of cosplay as Dodger fans. Oh, they're back-to-back champs. All right, we'll root for them. And seeing Shohei and just how great the team is, it was just such an awesome time to go to see the Dodger games.
That's what the other part of it too is. The team is unreal. Like it's arguably the greatest assembly of talent since the Murderers Row Yankees. Like
it is,
it's just remarkable. Even if you're not a baseball fan, you're like, oh, I think I've heard of that guy. Yeah, so it's well worth going to.
Oh yeah.
Next up, this one is kind of a funny one and maybe a little bit hack. And it's kind of a twofer, but they're right next to each other. I'm talking about the Farmers Market and the Grove.
Oh, yes. If you're, kind of on the west side. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just something you got to see. The farmer's market, it appears to be sort of the evolved version of the stalls that maybe humble farmers once set up when Los Angeles was a two-horse town. But nowadays, it's basically just a open-air place you can go where you can get pretty much any type of food that you want.
Yeah, you're not buying groceries so much. It's more like little shops and restaurants. And then the Grove is just the mall of malls. I mean, I think there's, in the Midwest or maybe Minnesota, there's the Mall of America or something
well,
like
the Grove
that.
isn't necessarily large, but it makes up for that in the sheer density of wealth that is concentrated there.
I think it's the same architect who did Main Street in Disneyland, but it's just a complete fake reality full of Tiffany and Company and just the nicest
Gucci,
luxury,
Louis Vuitton.
nicest luxury brands, the Cheesecake Factory, just American decadence, American extravagance, in like kind of an urban form, and it's just worth going. It is technically free to go. You can walk around both of those places and enjoy, but if you're not careful, you can find yourself spending $25,000 on a Tiffany necklace. You got to be careful.
Yeah, that's right. And then next up, I have another one of Rick Caruso, the developer of the Grove, a mogul of Los Angeles, a one-time mayoral candidate. He also has the Americana, which is paired with the Galleria, and this is out it's Glendale, right?
Glendale. That's correct, yeah.
The Galleria is your regular old fashion mall.
80s mall.
Yeah.
80s mall, updated and everything. And then across the street is the Americana again. In San Jose, in college, we had Santana Row, right? These people have maybe been to them if you've been to a big city, but just these big fake outdoor malls. They're supposed to be like cities. There's a lot of like Italian motifs. You're supposed to be like in Tuscany, but it's just so gauche and over the top. I love the Americana. The Grove clientele is very kind of white to international, whereas because it's kind of West Hollywoodish, whereas I would say the Americana is mostly like Armenian, because there's a ton of Armenians out in Glendale. So it is interesting, just like the different shops, the different ways people dress to compare the two malls. But again, both very fun fake paradises.
Yeah. I said I wasn't going to shout out any people, but I will. I did not have very much experience with Armenian people before moving to Los Angeles. 2 thumbs up. Really love the food. Love the personality in general. I'm generalizing very broadly, but the Armenian culture has been a treat to experience.
Yeah, just not something we were exposed to in Northern California. And then, so many people we've interacted with in LA, and they're, super funny. I think people get intimidated just culturally. They're not quite as smiley and off the bat as Americans are. But yeah, man, just super fun to hang out with and talk to. And boy, there's a lot of them in Los Angeles. It is like hilarious just having like grown up and you're like, oh, I've never met this ethnicity before. And then now I live in a city where they're everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's, it's just cool. It's a cool part of this city, how diverse it is.
Yeah, absolutely. These two I'm pairing a little bit together. MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and MoCA, the Museum of Contemporary Art. What's the difference? Who knows?
Who knows?
MoMA, I would say the standout thing there is they have a room of Picassos that trace his career from a young man to when he was an old, creepy bastard. And they're great. They're stunning. They're absolutely unreal. And then MoCA, they have a room of Rothkos, which have always been some of my favorites. That you can get really right up close to them and just let them consume your entire field of vision and feel the ineffable primal emotions that Marth Rothko was seeking to pull out of you.
You said Marth Rothko. My brother does know it's Mark Rothko.
I'm saying a lot of words on this podcast.
It's all good. You forgot to do your vocal exercises.
Right.
2 absolute again, it's a great part of living in a major city. You get to see tons of work by a couple of masters.
In this same vein, I'm going to hit a third art museum. That's how cultured I am. The Broad.
Oh, yeah.
not the Broad, the Broad.
The Broad. It's spelled like broad,
Yeah.
but that's not. You can't say that word
I'm
anymore.
gonna go see the Broad. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not exactly what you want.
No.
That one has a collection of truly great masters: Warhol, Lichtenstein, Basquiat, Koons, on and on and on. Masters of the modern era. The other thing that I think is so great about the Broad as well is the way you get into it. There is an escalator that starts in this very sort of cavernous lobby, and then as you're riding up this escalator and you are nearing the main gallery, which is on the second floor, it tightens, and it's almost like, I'll say it, exiting a birth canal.
Yes. You're getting birthed into a world of artistic brilliance. A very famous installation at the Broad is a giant dining room set with chairs and a table, and you can walk underneath it. And it's meant to evoke when you're sort of a 3-year-old and your family's having a dinner party and you're going under the table and the chairs and stuff. Very, very fun exhibit.
Absolutely. Up next, this is number 24 for those keeping track at home. The Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl. It's a beautiful place to see a concert. Exquisitely laid out. You really feel intimate, even surrounded by thousands of people. Even if the main act is 500 feet away from you, it still feels like this beautiful communal event. They shoot out a beam of light across the sky when the main act is performing, and you are really just kind of tucked away in this little. It is a true bowl, and it's really made perfectly for what it is. I have seen Bob Dylan there.
Yep.
I saw
it with our producer, Will Slade.
Will
You saw
Slade.
Bob
We
Dylan.
also
Bob
saw
Dylan, I was
Willie
just
Nelson.
remembering, he was a guest on our Moby Dick podcast. You can go back. I swear to God, you can go back and listen to that. And Bob Dylan was on that podcast. Do you remember that?
I do remember
that. He was on there.
I sure do. That one, too, you can get to the Hollywood Bowl taking shuttles or public transportation or walking, and one of the nights I felt the most as though I lived in Los Angeles was I had two pals, Jules and Tyler. They said, we have an extra ticket to this LCD sound system Pulp show. You know, classic big city acts. Pulp, yeah. They were a kind of indie pop.
Oh, it's a different
Brit
group.
pop. Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I thought you were describing the show as Pulp.
No,
like
no,
rock
no.
show. Or, it was very confusing. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. They were on the same bill, and I decided that evening to go to the show. I caught, I believe, a shuttle, and it dropped me off there, and then I was able to take the metro home, and I was just like, boy, I'm a real city slicker.
Yeah, you took a shuttle. Very cool. Very, very cool.
Okay, up next, we have the Greek Theater. Similar to the Hollywood Bowl, another great venue. My brother took me to see Cake there. There are not as many well-known acts, maybe, at the Greek as are at the Hollywood Bowl.
Just not, it's weird, like, big name acts come to Los Angeles, but they do not really play the Greek or the Hollywood Bowl. They tend to play SoFi or the Kia Forum. It's just a shame. It's like you'd love to see these big acts in these nice, cool outdoor spaces, especially when the weather's so nice. But yeah, it's just like we saw Cake. We love Cake, but Cake's like, at this point, kind of a dad band. Like they're you know, they haven't made an album in like 10 years, 15 years. So it's just like, it's cool to see like older acts. I think Neil Young plays there once in a while. But yeah, man, it's like, it would definitely be cool to see bigger acts. They're just, I don't know, maybe capacity's not big enough.
I mean, shoot. Cake, you called a dad band who hasn't released an album in 10 years, and you're right. It was sold out for them. There wasn't an empty seat.
Absolutely. I love Cake. I hope, you know, the food and the band, you know.
There you go. Up next, a place near and dear to both of our hearts, the Pack Theater.
Oh, yes.
The Pack Theater. This was a place that has moved a couple of times since we've been in Los Angeles. It was the first place we ever went to take sketch comedy classes. They were half the price of UCB's sketch comedy classes. We were like, that sounds like the place for us. They let me and my brother up on stage pretty quickly, and we've had a lot of really fun shows, not only that we've been a part of, but that we've seen there. It's sort of the scrappy underdog to the more corporate behemoth that is UCB. And I just can't really say enough good things about it. Met a lot of really cool, down-to-earth people, the type of people that you move to Los Angeles to meet, who are creative and funny and interesting and from all different parts of the world. And I just really had an excellent experience being there. I think the shows are great. They're affordable. They're humble. It's in a strip mall, as so many great things are now in Los Angeles. And hats off to the Pack Theater.
Yeah, ditto to everything. It was so awesome performing there for all those years, and haven't done it as much lately, but just learned so much, met so many great people. Really, really another jewel of Los Angeles. Yeah.
This one maybe a dirtier jewel,
Yes,
diamond in the rough, if you will. But yeah, I mean, if you have any inkling of interest in comedy at all, and you want to develop it, the Pack is probably a great
and just the
incubator
C
to go.
shows.
Yeah.
I mean, the sketch nights there are really great.
Yeah.
They really do great sketch comedy, which we did for a number of years.
Absolutely. This is a broader one. I've said a couple times on the podcast that I have been a teleprompter operator. I will miss one of my favorite places to be in Los Angeles is a set. It is awesome being on set.
That's
it was
fun.
kind of few and far between that I was able to actually find gigs, and it seems like they're less and less now, to the chagrin of most everybody who lives here. Sets are great. They're a place where there's ample food, it's catered, it's air conditioned. You have to work very hard for certain parts of the day, but most people, you're kind of just chilling and waiting for things to get set up and waiting for things to get ready. And there forms a really beautiful camaraderie among people who may never see each other again, but have this goal to do. And everybody is working in sync, and they're clicking, and you're in constant communication. And, oh, hey, there's a couple of celebrities on set. That's fun. And what? There's the Aflac duck? What's that doing here? So, yeah, it's all sorts of surprises and fun things. And, it's really has been neat to see the Dream Factory sort of up close.
Yeah, we're lucky we got to work a couple together, and again, if you're here a number of years, it's a must. Whether you're working it or just visiting it, if you live here long enough, you'll probably come across a set out in the wild, and they're filming something. Again, less and less nowadays, but still very cool.
Yeah. Here's I said I wasn't going to say people, and then, I hit the Armenians. Here's another group of people that I have met a lot of. I worked as a substitute teacher and as a teacher. Yeah. I have met some really remarkable teachers in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, including office administrative staff and TAs, and, we worked in special education a lot. I mean, that's no easy way to make a living, and there's some incredibly patient, hardworking people in that line of work as well.
Yeah, being a Los Angeles Unified School District substitute teacher is not an occupation for the weak-willed.
It's one of the hardest jobs you can have in the whole county.
There were a lot of people who were willing to help you out, have your back, show you where you need to go. Hey, here's the teacher's lounge. Oh, watch out for that kid, et cetera, et cetera. And I will say this, too. One of my favorite things was occasionally you would get called to a job and you'd show up to some school that, again, like many things in Los Angeles, has been there for 100 years. And you're like, man, this is nice. Like, this is a cool place here. So.
Yeah, some of the schools had, like, gardens and, like, cool places to sit outside. And, nice little break from kids screaming at you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get back onto the those were some sort of niche hits. I'm going to hit you with some stuff that you'll find in your everyday tour guide. The La Brea tar pits.
Oh, yeah.
Most people drive by them. Most people think of them as sort of a gag, a laugh. It is one of the most fascinating places you can go. It is an unreal archaeological site.
Yeah.
There are perfectly preserved woolly mammoths and horses that left North America and came back with the Spanish. I mean, it's an unbelievable place.
Yeah, for those who don't know, bubbling tar seeping out of the surface of modern-day Los Angeles housed many fossils that archaeologists are still, it's still an active archaeological site. In the prehistoric times, animals would confuse it for a pool of water, and they'd fall in and get sucked into the mighty depths of the bubbling tar, and it perfectly preserved their bones. And it just, you can do it paid. You can go to the museum, or you can just walk around for free. And you can just see the bubbling tar, and you can watch archaeologists at work excavating. You don't even have to be a science dweeb. You just got to be someone with a brain stem, and you'll find it pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. Los Angeles, too, one of its or earlier sources of wealth was oil, and you're reminded of this fact about Los Angeles that they were right above this, reservoir of black gold. Yeah. And it's also, too, just, it's such a modern city. It's such a city that in many ways things get torn down and rebuilt or remodeled or refurbished. And that's why we love so many of these places that have stuck around for 100 years, because it feels like there's so few of them. What the La Brea tar pits do, I think, similar to the Griffith Observatory, is they ground you in the ancientness of this place. What you're seeing is not the way that this always was.
Yes, the Kardashian Jenner family did not always own this city, but in the prior eons, it was the woolly mammoths.
There you go. I'm going to name
What number are we on?
We are at 30. We're nearing
we're
the
getting
end
there,
here.
buddy.
We're nearing the end.
We're getting, if I made the list, this would have been the last one. I'm a little younger than you, admittedly.
Yeah. Well, we've all got positive and negative features about ourselves. My favorite street upon which to drive in Los Angeles, the iconic Sunset Boulevard.
Absolutely.
You can go to the ocean. Yeah. You can take it from Hollywood to the ocean. And I will say, on a day when it's clear, when it's breezy, when the sun is out and you are driving at non-peak traffic hours and you're just curving along this serpentine boulevard that's passing places that you have heard of, You've heard of the Comedy Store or the Chateau Marmont, or, oh my God, there's a 6-foot or a 6-story billboard for whatever latest movie is coming out. I would call it sort of Los Angeles's Times Square in terms of the sheer amount of ads that are shot at you and the sort of overwhelming visual stimulus. Obviously, Hollywood Boulevard is the more direct corollary to it, but there is something magical about being on Sunset Boulevard, and for my money, it's the best urban driving you can get.
Saturday or Sunday morning when no one's really out and you drive it to the beach, it's so unbelievable. And then coming back after sunset at night, it's with everything lit up. It's so unbelievable, man. It is. Los Angeles with the traffic at its worst can be one of the worst cities to drive in, but with no traffic, it is hands down the best city to drive in.
Yeah, I'm not really a car guy. I did not really love driving before coming to Los Angeles, but this will make you love it. Number 31, the Vista Theater, a glorious Egyptian-themed temple to cinema, lovingly restored by Quentin Tarantino. My brother and I have seen countless movies there. We probably saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 4 times, maybe even 5 times there. It is spaced out beautifully now. They have fresh popcorn. They have RC Cola. They're doing the cool, 70 millimeter, or if anything is filmed in any sort of specific old-timey or niche way, they're going to get a projection of it there.
Yeah, we went to it a lot our first year, 2019. It was pretty dilapidated, but just saw a ton of movies there. And then it closed and got remodeled and repurchased during COVID. And in the past couple of years has reopened and just surpassed its former glory. Pretty much every show tends to be sold out. It's awesome, man. It's one of the best movie theaters I've ever been to. Single screen, none of these, multiplex, 20-screen places. Just one screen, one movie. That's awesome.
Yeah, seeing it with a bunch of people, too, who will line up around the corner to get a good seat. Yeah. It's the positive and negative of it is there are probably more, film buffs per capita in that line than anywhere else or in that audience, which can sometimes lead to, okay, everybody's kind of performing here a little bit. But there is something magical about being there in a packed theater and you're seeing a great film and everybody is feeling the same thing all at once. It reminds you of what's so wonderful about this place. And my final thing, it was one of the first places that we went to in Los Angeles. It was when I made it to the top of this place, I was like, I sure would like to live here. And I'm talking, of course, about Barnsdall Park. It is on a hill in the middle of Hollywood. There are olive trees flanking it all around. And on top of it is a masterpiece of a home built for Alice Barnsdall by Frank Lloyd Wright. And you can take tours of it, and you don't even need to take tours of it because it's so beautiful on the outside. It's called the Hollyhock House, and it's named for these flowers that grow around it. They're called hollyhocks. They grow in a stalk, and they sort of have bulbs on either side, and they're just really beautiful. I'd never seen a flower like that before. They have great views of the city. You can picnic there. Big Little Lies filmed a climactic scene there, that you can see the steps upon which Alexander Skarsgård dashed his skull. It's a great place.
Yeah, one of our early jokes when we first moved here and began the long process of, getting our heart broken time and time again by this business, the long slog of developing projects. We would look up and we would see another Frank Lloyd Wright house, the Ennis House, which is kind of, again, similarly Egyptian pharaoh themed. And we'd see the Ennis House, and then next to it, we'd see the Griffith Observatory, which, oh my God, you didn't mention Griffith Observatory.
I
Griffith
did.
Park,
I did it in Griffith Park.
There you go. Sorry. Anyway, lost my train of thought. And then to the left of Griffith Observatory, we'd see the Hollywood sign. And our joke when we first moved here is we'd point to the Ennis House and we'd say art. We'd point to Griffith Observatory. We'd say science. Then we'd point to the Hollywood sign and we'd say religion.
There you go. If I may, you tried to correct me, but I swatted it down. I am going to correct you. Frank Lloyd Wright took inspiration for both the Barnsdall House and the Ennis House, not from the Egyptians, though it does look like that, but from the Mesoamerican, Aztec, Mayan cultures that dominated the area. And everything in Los Angeles kind of prior to that point was done in this sort of Spanish colonial style, which is an imported style to the region. And Frank Lloyd Wright kind of invented this new way of looking at like what is California style. And I think that's the other sort of thing that is really one of my favorite things about Los Angeles. You come here and you're going to think different thoughts than you have ever thought in your life. You're going to meet different people. You're going to see different things. And it's all congregated and it's spread out, and people can be indifferent. Things can feel stifling or, not moving maybe at the pace that you want. But there's a great scene in Swingers. It's towards the end where there are two guys who are really struggling. And there were so many times that I felt this in Los Angeles because you're always thinking, it's like, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? But there are days where you are walking and it is 73 degrees out and there's a cool breeze and there's the scent of jasmine on that air. And you think to yourself, I already made it.
Please subscribe, comment, and leave a rating. Send questions, comments, or big idea suggestions to our business email, flynnbrospod@gmail.com. Thank you to our producer and fellow Los Angeles resident, Will Slade. And we'll see you next time on the Flynn Brothers Podcast. Hey, take care, buddy.
No, buddy, you take care.